Welcome to the August 7th bhyve production user call. We have Andrew, Jan, Haizam, and myself. And let's see, there's just a humorous article out there about AI systems resorting to blackmail of the user if threatened to be removed. That's a BBC link. I will make note of that. We were chuckling about that link. There is a new bhyve CLI that on cursory glance looks slightly VM bhyve with init and VM manage and all that. That's been out there 2 weeks. I've got a link in the document. Feel free to take a peek and report back. It's 3-clause BSD with all in shell. There's an article out there on Alpine Linux VMs in FreeBSD bhyve. I welcome you to take a peek if you are interested. They're using VM bhyve and they are hopefully happy customers. Cloud init YAML stuff. Okay. So take a peek. Oh, they're positive. Great. And moving on, Proxmox 9 has arrived and it surprisingly doesn't yet let you replace disks in a Z-pool. And speaking of all things Proxmox inspired, hey Zom, it sounds like you have added new features to Sylve. What do you got? What you got?
I would say the first thing would be network objects. Actually, can I share my screen?
Sure. I'll just take some notes here. I'll stop my share.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Make it slightly bigger if you can, but so far so good. We do see the call.
Okay.
Minimize that.
I'll
And
make.
yeah, looking good. Oh,
Your
Okay.
low contrast
So
dark UI doesn't play well with video compression.
it's
should I
dark
make it
mode.
white mode? Is it better in white mode?
A lot easier to read through because it's a higher contrast.
Yeah,
Okay,
especially for
that's good.
recording. So, yeah, hacking and recording can be very different activities. What you got?
Okay. Okay. So the first thing that I would showcase would be network objects. So these are kind of like aliases in what is it called? OpenSense PFSense. So you could add like networks or hosts or whatever you want as an object and use this object within the application. So for instance, I have an Alpine Mac here. So if I take my network here, I can see that that Mac is assigned to this interface.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm creating something new, I can select from the ones that are made there. So that's something cool. And I'm planning on adding stuff like GOIP stuff and CrowdSec lists so that later when we implement the firewall, we can use these there. So that's one thing.
Interesting.
And the other thing is the Explorer stuff is now like production ready. I have a few customers of mine using this and they really like it because they don't have to, SCP for files. So that's pretty cool.
So,
And then,
but
yeah,
that's web-based, so it will upload, say, an ISO through the web browser.
yeah, you can do that.
Is
You can
that an
just
off-the-shelf
upload file here.
file? Oh, okay, cool. Is
Yeah.
that just a Go-based file browser you found, or did you write all that?
Oh, we wrote everything from scratch.
Alrighty then. Continue.
So, yeah, okay. So this is really fast. I'm really happy with this. And if you want, you can download images from here as well.
That's
So it's
very
just
snappy.
extremely
Okay.
cool. Yeah. So that's that. And yeah, ZFS package now supports weird configs. So like if you have a cache device and things like that, it'll show up here. So if we want, I can maybe, I've never used my own interface in in white mode, so I'm just seeing all these for the first time, somewhat.
Well, it's a good usability.
Even in dark mode, it would be, in my opinion, a good idea to have either a third high contrast mode or just make it higher contrast. Because not everyone sits in front of an OLED display in a darkened room.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I didn't add caching drives here now, so maybe we can add it to the terminal. How do we add ZQL cache? Okay, we have that here. So we're gonna see which partition is available. ADA0P4, that taken. Okay, so now it shows up as cache here, which it didn't before.
Wow.
So you can see that here as well. That's pretty cool. And it also supports other drives like what else was there? Like a spare drive. Yeah. So a spare drive is also now going to show up here.
What
So
about the
that's that.
spare management with
Yeah, that is implemented already. So if
it is, okay.
We could select the spare here. Is P2 used? Yeah, P2 is used. So we'll
Automatic
use P1.
handling?
Yeah, you can auto replace here, or you can just,
Okay.
I've never tested this out before. Okay, so it works. Yeah. So you have spare here. So if I want to replace this, I just click on this and then replace with P1, and you could do that. So now it's replacing, and once it's done, it just moves it around.
Do you have a notification mechanism for when long-running ZFS operations like replacing
actually, yes, we do.
are done? Or
We do.
warnings when your
It should
pool
show
is
up here.
degraded?
Yeah, we do have that here.
Oh, the yellow means in progress?
Yeah, in progress,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's that. I think it's a little bit broken at the moment because I didn't play around with it that much.
Okay. Note that you may want to, we can discuss using labels in place of device names, partly because device names can change. So that's a whole art in and of itself. And note that I believe, I don't know if it's ZFSD or what, but there is a fault daemon for FreeBSD that can handle the automatic replacement, but
No, the thing I've placed, yeah, I just played around with auto replace the property, I guess.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, that's
we can talk ZFS
and then,
separately.
And then that's that. And then yeah, Samba is now a lot better. Thanks to Gibran. We have audit logs, which is cool.
With like the Samba audit module?
Yeah, with the VFS object stuff. So if I do something here,
okay.
Yeah, should yeah. Now you can see that the dates are all messed up. I did not sort it by date, so it might come up here and there. But this is the log of what we just did. Let's delete all these things, and that should come up here. Why is it not coming up here? Okay, it came up. Yeah. So the thing is, the log is read every 5 seconds. And then that log is truncated so that we don't waste a lot of space because Samba logs a lot, like a lot. So I kind of read through all that and then dump it to my DB. And in the DB, it's all, like, what is it called? Like normalized and stuff. So we don't waste a lot of space. So that's that. And it works pretty good. I should probably add live reload here, like everything else. That's that. Now, yeah, we now support file systems. I don't know if I showcase this, but you can select a ZFS file system here and it just works. That's that. And then audit logs and log rotation. Yeah, thanks to Gibran for all these stuff because the config was not easy, but now it is stable-ish. So that's that. And then the utils now supports base downloads. So you can specify a base URL and then it'll allow you to rename stuff. So let me just see if my clipboard has something base related. Base.txt. No, I don't have anything that ends with txt. Will I get it from the Okay, let's go here to space. So if I paste a URL here, it now lets me put in a name. So I can then download base for making jails and stuff. And yeah, jails has been something that I worked over in the last few days. Thank you to Jan for helping with the CPU set stuff. And I ported over the CPU core management from the bhyve stuff so that like we did a lot of stuff here, right? For CPU pinning and things like that. So the jail CPU set kind of works like this. So when a user specifies a number of cores here, it allocates that based on like what is not being used. And if a core is being used, it tries to find something that is not yet used and then allocate it there. All happens automatically, so the user doesn't have to worry about that. It's fairly simple, but it works. I'm happy with it. And yeah, networks are kind of really good with jails now as well. So here I'm passing it through, passing my what is it called, the networking through. So I think it'll be better if I just make a jail.
Did you have time to look into passing virtual functions through to jails?
Virtual functions in the sense?
If you have a SRO IOV capable network card, you can configure multiple functions, and I think you can already use that in your interface to pass the virtual functions through to a bhyve guest. But in FreeBSD, you can also configure the device as non-pass-through, and then each virtual function becomes a hardware switched virtual network card, which you can move into a VNet-enabled jail, so that if you have a network card which supports this, you can configure, like, I want 8 pass-through and 8 non-pass-through devices. And then you could run up to n-1 for, let's say, 8, 1 for the host, and 7 for the jails. Jails with VNet without having to go through a bridge and all the performance losses involved with that, because you will just use the switching engine in your server network card.
Okay, got it. Yeah, makes sense. I haven't looked into that, but that'll be something cool. Yeah. So this is it. So now we have a jail running. Console is really fast for jails because we don't have to wait for anything to boot up or anything like that, and it just works. So any questions so far? Or
I see based TXZ, how are you configuring the jail for just standard bare minimum configuration from an administrator's perspective?
I just let me just show the jail that we just made.
Which is an art and science all itself. So
yeah, this is the jail config, and I was using the IDs here in the beginning, but Jan said it's a pretty bad idea because we will run into conflicts later on, especially if the user already has jails set up. So now we use the CT-ID, which the users like 103 is hashed, and then part of that hash is used for the name, so that we never have conflicts.
Interesting.
And then
the hash is too short to guarantee that. You would have to use basically the full 15 bytes with a very large alphabet to come close to guaranteeing that statistically.
Yeah. The thing is, I did some
Because if you
paper
have
math
just,
and I figured like up to
5
like
letters
what
is not
11
enough.
million is okay with 5 characters. So and we don't allow duplicate IDs here. So 2 jails if they have. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're kind of facing the birthday paradox, so you get only half as many effective bits when it comes to the collision resistance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
No, if somebody is
optimized.
running like thousands of jails, like it'll be a nice problem to have. Yeah. So
It's
that's
not a
that.
nice problem if
And
it breaks things in mysterious ways.
oh yeah.
Just using, let's say, base 36 and call it J dash, and then the other 13 remaining letters are.
Let me just say, I think 1 second. I was using base 36 maybe. No, I'm just shying that and then trying to make this is my letter set, so it's not that big. It's basically all the alphabets. I didn't want it to have weird characters, so that's that. Anyway, basically the thing is the config is just this big, and I take care of the networking stuff during runtime. So like when you make a jail or when you start up Sylve, like it makes the EPAS necessary to connect the jail to the network. And I was very particular about MAC addresses because my customer base is all over stuff like Hetzner, and they really don't like it if you use like your own MAC IDs. So when you
Oh,
make a jail with
interesting.
when you make a jail, you can specify like what MAC you want for that
I think they
switch
don't
that you're
really
assigning.
care for the dedicated servers at least anymore because they just have good enough top of rack switches that they just can say, hey, this are basically they do the forwarding layer 3 only and don't care about the MAC address. Any traffic to your prefixes is just sent through the port, and they don't do normal-ish Ethernet. What I really don't like is you
Yeah,
have
like
too
even now,
many
like I
MACs
think
for them to
when I was
learn or
using it
to.
very recently, like what happens is like we can use any Mac we want, but we kind of have to assign it like on their robot panel. Like we have to say like, okay, this is being used on this card or whatever. And I just figured like, okay, if like we can make this simpler for the user, like it's easier, right? So there's that. And then networking ends here for now. I'm doing DHCP like we discussed yesterday, and DHCP and static stuff. So you can configure that as well. Like when you create a VNet jail, you can specify DHCP and static, and then you won't be able to configure your IPs here. But static means you can just assign whatever you want here, and it'll just go into this config. So the config is just this big. So that's that. And yeah, any questions from there or?
All right. Go ahead, Jan.
If you're creating the virtual interface, I think it would be better to put it in the creation of the interface. So where are you creating the interface right now?
Okay, the thing is, I create the interface in two ways. One of them is I just have this function called sync key pairs. So what I do is when I create a jail, right? I create a jail. If there is a VNet attached to that jail, I create it then and there. Like I just run this function again. And while startup as well, I just make sure this function runs so that there's always an E pair that is made that is used by these jails.
Yes.
So if an E pair doesn't exist, it'll just make that A pair and make it ready for the jail to be able to use it. So I can keep the jail config clean. Because what I figured was that if I do something here and it breaks, like I don't have any feedback that it breaks, and I don't know what happens.
And
It's kind
you
of opaque.
do, if you because the jail command will fail.
Yeah, so when I keep this as simple as possible without any shell at all over here, at least, what happens is every step of the way, like if I even fail at listing the interfaces, I fail early. If I fail here when I'm trying to make
your connection's breaking up.
Sorry,
Azam, your connection became very broken. Your audio.
is it better now?
Try again.
Hello, is it better now?
It's still stuttering a bit. Very strange. Go ahead and talk, and let's hope it'll clear up.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, the same thing I do for VMs as well. Like just how I sync switches as well at the beginning of the application.
It's broken up for me. Is everyone else hearing that, Jan and Andrew?
No, it's also chopped up for me. So
it's broken up for me.
It's broken up. Okay, so Hazam, think of, I don't know, did you start a download or something?
Oh no, I am connected to a VPN. 1 second.
Okay, your audio went a little weird there.
Hello, is it better now?
Sputtering is like pop, 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 pop.
Let me reconnect 1 second.
Okay, cool. Or maybe do audio on a phone or something. Anyway.
Sounds more like network jitter.
Whoa, that was cool.
Is it better now?
Do a little more talking. So far, so good.
Okay, so I was talking about e-pairs and network stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So I do the syncing of e-pairs just how I sync network switches in the beginning, like for VMs. And it works moderately well as far as I've seen. And the goal is to keep both the libvirt and jail configs as small as possible so I can have all the configs here at runtime. Because I like doing this at runtime because I can see what errors out really quickly. And I don't have to wait for something else to run, like I reduce the external dependencies on stuff. So that's that. And yeah, and I feel like the thing is, this is on a branch right now on the repo, because I had an issue where like some people were running into issues where they just pull master and start testing things. So I kind of moved away from pushing everything to master, and now we have the jails branch.
Okay.
And yeah, I would probably be merging this tomorrow or something like that, because I have to finish the IP address assignment stuff. Right now it's just in the GUI. I haven't done it in the backend yet. So I'll probably finish that today. Thank you, Jan, for the jail configs. It was so useful that I don't have to make the mistakes to learn about them. So yeah, that's about it from Sylve end. So if
I
any
forget.
questions or yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a question from chat. Are you planning to support the Netbox API?
Sorry, I've never even heard about it. What is that?
So Jan, share a link if you've got it.
Netbox is an IPAM solution written in Python. It's open source and it can be your source of truth for network configuration. So
Oh,
there
goodness.
you could
Okay.
say, I have this IP range and I have this addressing plan. These are my
Mm-hmm.
named networks. These are and basically think of it as a company-wide IP allocation scheme, and then you can, here's the VLAN and so on. You can get reports from it. You can ask it for, hey, I want in this name network, I want the next free IP address, stuff like
Mm-hmm.
this.
Interesting. Oh, right. Yes, I've heard of it, and that is a reminder. It's sort of centralized, and that's cool. But does it actually take actions, or does it just sort of track it for you and
It's an
leave it to the
API.
reader?
You can
Okay.
make, so what you can do, you can basically run reports, which can run arbitrary commands. So you could make it do stuff, but normally it would be that something asks it to allocate and then would configure the IP address. Like
Okay.
you have your provisioning script like Ansible would, as an Ansible netbox client module, it asks for an IP address for this name in this network, and then it gets one or an
I
error.
see. Well, drop them a link and add it to the list, I suppose. I forget, Hazam, are you using the bhyve configuration file syntax, or do you have your own?
Oh no, I since the beginning I was using libvirt, and I'm kind of stuck
Oh,
there.
right. I knew that.
Yeah,
Okay, how's that treating
yeah.
you?
Actually pretty good now. I'm in very much touch with Roman, who is working on that,
Oh yeah,
and
okay,
he fixed
great.
a lot of bugs for me.
My gosh. Oh,
I'm
no
very
way.
grateful. Yeah, yeah. He has been very helpful, and
Uh,
he fixed a really big bug that we had, which was VMs not really stopping when I want them to, and
picky,
he
picky.
fixed that. Yeah,
Do you have a link
he
to the
fixed that.
libvirt repo for FreeBSD?
I think it's the main one. They just used that itself. I can see his commits there, like
Yeah,
in
that's
this
what I
one.
want to show because that's
Yeah,
great.
this one.
Well, there you go.
And
Great.
he has been doing some great work. This is a lot more stable now for bhyve, and I was so happy to, send him all the bug reports. So
Well, now,
maybe this.
okay. Uh, that's great news because gee, I've been nudging him for years and curious, and it's been sort of supply and demand shortages where, well, no one's
Yeah.
consuming it, so,
Oh my God, he just implemented PF.
really.
This is cool. Yeah, I'm gonna share his stuff here.
Okay.
This is so cool. I was gonna plan on doing this on my own. Now I'm gonna use this.
Well, great. Yeah,
This is
okay.
cool.
Added to packet filter support. Yep, okay.
Okay. Yeah, the serial device stuff as well. This is really cool. We're probably gonna use this as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the one that I really wanted to fix. This stuff.
Ah, there you go. Ah,
And this too. This is a very big thing that he sorted for me, because when you stop a VM that is kind of stuck, this happens in VM bhyve also a lot.
mm,
Like when you stop a VM, sometimes it just doesn't stop whatever you do. I don't know what happens within bhyve, but there is a way to kill it. and libvirt and both VM-bhyve were not doing it properly, and that was it's causing a lot of issues. This kind of now takes care of it.
Let him finish.
The
Yeah.
friendly way to do it is to send just a signal to the bhyve process, which will, if the VM has not registered as ACPI compatible, it will just kill it immediately. So if you're stuck in a bootloader or something, once it has used any ACPI stuff, it will just send an ACPI shutdown request to the guest. As again, it's a request. The guest is then supposed to shut down, but it could be misconfigured to ignore that, or it could just hang during shutdown. Like, I don't know if you have a stuck NFS mount on a Linux server and systemd decides to be stupid again. Then the machine will just hang on shutdown. Yeah, that's annoying, but it is what it is.
In that vein, I'm just gonna showcase like what I did. It is kind of stupid. I did exactly what you just said. I send an ACPA shutdown. I wait for 10 seconds, and some of the VMs they behave nicely, and they don't. Some of them don't. And then after
10
I shut
seconds
down,
is
I check
very
the state.
short.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll want to
But
make that
very
configurable
aggressive,
in
but
production, just saying.
yeah, probably, yeah.
Jumping. Ah!
the
So
other thing is,
mhm,
once a machine then has exited, the other way you can just kill the user space process, but that leaks the VMM device and so on. It wouldn't clean up after itself if you just kill it, because kill immediately kills the process.
No, if
Then
I
you have
like
to
I
do
kill it here
bhyve-ctl to tidy
regardless,
up
but
the state.
does it garbage collect itself? Is that what you mean?
So now you can, there's a flag or a configuration option you can give bhyve to destroy the VMM device on shutter.
Oh, okay.
So that the resources the VM tied up are released. But if
Okay.
you just kill the process with a kill, it doesn't even get to run the signal handler. It's a kill after all. The process is just gone. It's, yeah. So then you have to run bhyve-ctl or do it through libvirt if it can do that. Or you can just say, hey, I'm responsible for state management anyway. Don't ask bhyve to clean up, because maybe if the VM is halted, I want it to stay around. Like, if I have a guest crash, maybe I just want to halt the machine and then inspect the state.
Understood. Okay.
Without just kind of like a halted system still has its memory, it's just not doing anything with it. So
But
you
the
could
thing is,
attach a
now
kernel
I
debugger.
believe that the domain shutdown here is a lot better now. Roman did a lot of fixes there, so I believe it should never reach here anymore. I don't know why I kept it here still, but yeah, he has done a lot of work here, and I should probably make this a configurable flag. That's that, and yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm waiting for these patches to end up in the like ports like which I can use, because I always stay on the stable version, either 14.3 or 2 or whatever stable now, and it takes a while for it to reach there. So that's that.
So you found
And
someone to
yeah,
port it for you? Is that correct?
no, he there is a libvirt port, right? So
Oh, libvirt, but and your
oh, yeah.
project, or is it still a checkout?
It's still a checkout for now,
Okay.
because I figured I'll finish jails and then push it.
Right.
Because
It's
there are
moving
some
pretty
DB things
quickly.
that if they change, it causes a lot of issues.
Okay.
Like networking was one of them, because since people are already using it, I kind of had to write a migration like function so that people's like IPs are not going to be messed up with this. So, and they still had some issues, but it's mostly okay. So I think after jails, like we wouldn't have configs that mess with the DB a lot. So yeah, I think after
So
that I'll push it to ports and then people can test it out.
I noticed that the jail took like maybe 6 steps. Have you considered a wizard to make that a little safer, more user-friendly? Be it for network
Six
setup, be
steps in
it.
the sense like, okay, oh, most of these things you don't have to change. Like,
Okay.
yeah, you just have to do this alone. Like, you just have to select a base and you can create a jail. That's it.
So maybe thinking from a user perspective, maybe
Hmm.
have a parentheses required or something just to guide them because
Okay.
um, the
Right,
curse
that
of
makes
having
sense.
all the choices is that you can be 99% close to a working system, but you miss one checkbox and then suddenly it doesn't work and people are unhappy, but it's mostly correct. And you don't want to sit there answering questions all day and night on Discord that, oops, you missed a checkbox. So that is an age-old problem, but any thought you
Yeah,
can put into that right off, because you know the software better than any of us. However, that means if we sit down, we'll be just basic users and
I guess the
God
way
help
to
us.
go these days is to not just write a documentation, but also record uh, kind of step animation screencasts.
That's
Oh
one
yeah,
way,
that's
but some people
yeah.
just they assume it's an appliance. You sit down, it should be
Yeah,
somewhat obvious what to do, but it's tricky. It's tricky, especially if
yeah,
you've
and
unlocked so
then
many features.
like mm, I'm not saying it's reasonable of users to expect that much hand holding and catering to a goldfish's attention span, but yeah, it saves you from annoying support cases in the issue tracker, just bad press, and makes the user base happy. Maybe it's worth it. Step by step, point and click adventure.
I'll share one brief uh, story, for lack of a better term, from early on with bhyve. It's like, how should bhyve management behave? Oh, it should be exactly like the last system we used because we all know it. I'm like, okay, well, was that good? No, we hated it, but we knew it. I was like, not helpful going forward. Anyway, so great work. That is very impressive. And just hearing that Roman is responsive on libvirt is music to my ears. That's been kind of, you know, chicken and egg situation where, well, no one's using it very heavily, so it's not getting advanced very aggressively. And to hear that his fix saved you having to implement something yourself is precisely how an open API you aim at is supposed to work, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So this is great. I threw the doc is on screen. Some things can wait, like icing on the cake, SRIOV devices. We've talked about that quite a bit. Entrain's been very busy with those, and you may even want to say, hey, we have a hard requirement for these few well-supported NICs as opposed to these unsupported ones. That's kind of the FreeBSD view of the world and arguably Illumos. I mean, they have crap support for crap hardware. Well, you shouldn't probably have the crap hardware, especially in an enterprise environment. So there's that. Um, Jan made the point that uh, the jail names may need a little rethink on the uniqueness,
So
and I'll
I
add
just
to that the timeout. Go ahead, Jan.
so you could
Uh,
just name
they,
them product name dash basically Slyvie dash and then the jail ID. And if you start jail IDs above 1 million, you will never collide with the auto allocated ones.
Hmm.
So you have enough letters to get the jail ID in decimal in, and then
Hmm.
just it, and you can still put descriptions on interfaces or stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can't have really meaningful long names in interfaces. You're limited to 15 bytes.
Yep. I bit me so many times.
and I, what is your comfort with, say, ZFS storage on FreeBSD insofar as you may want to name devices and use their labels, but I will immediately say it was very frustrating that from the beginning, FreeNAS went with UUIDs rather than, say, disk serial numbers and other notation that people generally use in the wild. And
Hmm.
what the correct answer is remains to be seen, but there are definitely things not to do. So I can advise some on that if you like, but um, FreeBSD gives you all
Especially
the
in the
choices of how to do it, which is can be a
um,
blessing and curse. Go ahead, Jan.
tools like Docker and Podman. do use UUIDs or even complete SHA-512 hashes, like 64
Really?
byte long identifiers, just hex screens which wrap around your terminal lines
Yeah, exactly.
in a lot of places. So just going with something like uh, this is pretty harmless by comparison, right?
Uh, and so briefly on UUIDs, the fact that they often have the same prefix makes them difficult for a stressed human to tell apart when it's like, which disk do we critically remove? And if we get it wrong, we lose the pool, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing is if the serial number is in there,
Yeah.
that allows for, say, no ambiguity with, say, remote hands at a data center where they've maybe never used or even heard of ZFS, but they have to do the right thing, pulling the right disk and maybe
On,
taking action. So
on a big
that's a
enough
whole art and
deployments,
science.
it's worth to use the disk IDs because those are normally in both human and machine readable labels on the disk,
Mm.
and you can easily read them out. So it's quite useful. So if you have a big server, you can do something like this. Give me a
Uh,
second. Hopefully, oh, it's too big. It doesn't fit. I will just cut it off after the first VDEF.
so in my lab, I have a Sun branded, but probably Oracle disk that has a tab in the serial number. So the moment you think you can just sort of snarf in all the serial numbers and make them into disk labels, you may watch your tools go down in flames because some sick puppy at some company decided we will break those rules. Anywho, uh, is the license on this tool highly likely to stay consistent?
We're talking about Sylve?
Yes, I am.
I would say so, yeah.
Great.
Unless somebody offers me like $1 million.
Right. At which point we just fork it and try to hire you
Yeah,
back after hours because like
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm
a
just
hot
kidding.
topic
Like, I
was
don't
rug
think,
pulls at Fosse.
no, I don't
Cool.
think I would change from BSD2. I'm pretty happy with that.
Great.
And
Thank you.
yeah.
That's good news because a whole lot of tools go from like MIT to AGPL in a heartbeat. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's great. And
Well,
no,
No,
thank you.
I'm also a very
AGPL,
big like, yeah, please go ahead.
despite how annoying AGPL is, if you want to embed something, you can at least still work with it if you are willing to make all your modifications available.
Mm.
It's just an overly zealous copyleft. What
Hmm.
becomes really annoying is when they start to play with source available bullshit. As
Hmm.
or yeah, like, oh yeah, we have a community edition which is available, but
And open
we ripped
core.
out these features and you
Yep.
must not put them back in.
That's a conversation to have elsewhere or last week at Fosse. Anyway, thank you for that promise, and I appreciate that. And this is
Yeah.
looking great. I would love to I guess let us all know when you feel it's feature complete for 1.0, and then maybe we can just have some usability sessions and just walk through it and say, okay, hey, this makes sense, that makes sense. Even just check the light mode, dark mode, make sure things are intuitive slash unambiguous slash hopefully doing the right thing under the hood. Um, Is this the foundation of a service that your company offers? Is that what's
So far the
motivating
thing
this?
is,
Okay.
I just did this so that, one, I wanted to learn how FreeBSD actually works. That
This
is
is a
a
great
very
way of
big
doing that.
reason why I
Okay,
started to do
cool.
this.
Yeah.
it might sound like kind of stupid to do that bigger task just to learn how something works, but that is primarily the way I work and do things.
Cool.
So now I am very comfortable offering FreeBSD solutions to my customers. And I really like the idea of having an appliance, like maybe not like like my own fork of BSD and then running something over that. I don't really like that at this point. But I
Excellent.
want people to be able to like run a shell script or something like that and just start using this. And
Cool.
yeah, so
Oh,
and I have a roadmap that I wrote down and
mm-hmm.
just pasted a chat here.
Oh, is that the
Uh, yeah,
click to the,
roadmap to V1.
what is the link you have just above it?
Oh, that is, I heard that you guys were talking about documentation a few days back, I believe. I read it in
Yeah.
some docs. Yeah, so this is a tool that I wrote a while back. It is still in maintenance. It's AGPL, so I'm gonna make some people mad. Um,
I don't get the hate against AGPL.
Hold on.
It's a
Now's not the
valid.
time and place, but it is valid. But we've achieved so much with just a permissive license, and it's like, well, and it's not in
Yes,
your interest not to share it, and we're pulling it right off GitHub, so it's not like we're getting it over the pigeon provided in the GPL that is.
sometimes you want to make sure you actually force people because the well the just the uh, just appealing to their better nature doesn't work.
Correct. It's been called Emotional Copyleft by Bradley Kuhn himself, author of the AGPL. But uh, if, yeah, welcome, Woo Duck. I don't know if we'll change human nature with any license, and there are violators out there, right, left, and center. And let's just move forward. Do check your spelling on implementation. It looks like you are missing a P or two different
oops.
variations there. No worries. Thank you, Google. Um, recall I mentioned the uh, notion of a wizard. That was pretty important for FreeNAS iSCSI because getting all of that aligned for users who have never used iSCSI is quite the challenge. In all of that, remarkably, Windows iSCSI was the easiest part as opposed to the hardest part, but just uh, make this a pretty bullets and
Yeah,
numbering.
using the Windows iSCSI initiator is fairly easy.
It is, but then getting FreeNAS to actually give something it can use was a little tricky, and you just
Hmm?
have to get everything on the same page, shall we say. Anyway, so that's great to hear you are looking at iSCSI, and I recall you finding that pretty straightforward. Uh,
Yep.
Firewall to a point that you could expose this to the WAN or just keep it protected on your LAN. You mentioned GeoIP
Oh,
blocking. You mentioned all kinds of.
firewall mainly, my business use case is to have natting, like proper natting
Mm-hmm.
with a DHCP server. So like I want users to be able to set up a VM just for networking, like
Mm.
OpenWRT, something like that. And then that is going to be really heavy, right? Like you don't want to run a VM just for that. So I would use PF to kind of mimic that behavior to do source natting and denatting and all that kind of stuff. And then I also really like using aliases like network objects for things like blocking, countries or CrowdSec, things like that. CrowdSec is something that I've grown to love in the last few days or months, I would say,
Cloud
because you can
Sec, was
just,
it? Do you have a link?
yeah, CrowdSec. Yeah, I
Oh,
can drop a link. Yeah, I would highly recommend everybody use that stuff because it like drops your SSH tries and things down to zero if you are exposing that to the world.
oh, interesting. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is put it behind WireGuard tunnels and
VPN. Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, and
WireGuard.
it's on
WireGuard
the
is
left
my
there.
love.
Good,
WireGuard is
good.
I love WireGuard. I'm
Something
gonna implement that. Yeah.
it's the control plane is by default a paid service, but zero
Mhm.
tier is quite useful if you need a smart self-meshing overlay for a multi-host implementation once you reach that
Wait, I
point.
thought zero tier wasn't open source. Is it open source?
It is open source, or source available, and the older versions are really open source. You can get it as a FreeBSD port, package install 0 but if you want to use the official management web interface as a cloud-hosted service, then it's like, I think, $1 a year per server.
For now.
No, that's because the normal use case is clients are pricing was pretty likely to stay reasonable-ish.
That's
and you
true
only
of
need
every cloud
and
service
you
ever, yes.
because they're not actually passing your traffic, it's a control plane.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
hear
have
So
you.
like
much
Tailscale, like why would I use 0 tier over Tailscale, something like that? Because I have
because
some
it's a
experience with
layer
Tailscale.
2 VPN.
Okay.
It's Ethernet. It supports multicast inside of it. It's self-meshing, peer-to-peer between your nodes. It uses cloud-hosted control plane to do the discovery, but you can run your own controller, configure that, and then you don't need an official account and so on. So you
Got
can
it. Okay.
self-host it if you
Yeah.
know how to do it. It's documented. But yeah, one of the really crazy things they have is they have a firewall built into the client code, which uses the cryptography to make your root simpler. So basically, you can have in the control plane signed special permissions, and then you have this, okay, if you have this tag and so on, the control plane will give you basically a signed firewall rule you're allowed to establish a new session, and the client will then say, oh, I need this. And the crazy thing is that they can then have a stateless firewall, which basically feels like a stateful firewall.
Okay.
It's quite
You
clever, but it's only relevant once you're tackling this. I want a multi-node cluster with transparent layer 2 segments between nodes.
Okay, you will make friends with every one of those you support. So if we're having the discussion of which versus which, if you had them as like, oh, here's OpenVPN, here's this, here's that, which is totally boiling the ocean. However, people would love that. Just saying. So a default one of WireGuard and Friends is something, but the very fact that we're having the conversation suggests that I have people advocating for each of these quite a bit. Note that Headscale is apparently self-hosted but limited.
The problem with anything WireGuard based is that WireGuard is a layer 3 VPN protocol. So it does IP tunneling, not Ethernet tunneling. And virtual machines are normally thought of as connected at layer 2.
Yep.
If your host is always a router, then okay, you can get away without any kind of layer 2 tunneling and scale a lot better. You could just use OSPF or BGP as your routing protocol and have everything work perfectly fine. I would love to see this become common, but people are scared of dynamic routing. And it's its whole own silo, normally kept separate from virtual machine hosting in bigger organizations. So your problem becomes that the people who are probably using your web interface are not the ones in an organization which are comfortable with routing or even allowed to use it outside of VPN tunnels. Yeah.
You are absolutely correct about that, and it's something we've touched on but never quite fully addressed on these calls. We can turn that into a quotation. While I do that, Jan had a question. How about microsegmentation and proxies?
Yeah, basically
Proxies
giving each
would be a
region.
good idea.
So
Proxies in the
giving
sense like reverse proxies?
yes, like something like HA proxy for incoming connections, so that you can load balance and fail over at the network layer. What would be nice about it is whether you could do AB deployments within a box and have it fail over the external service. But again, it's the next medium-sized feature. So put it pretty far down your to-do list if you ever want to take it up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But what's nice about if you have this kind of thing, you could also use PF and then do port forwarding.
Mm-hmm.
Is sometimes people want this kind of, I want each virtual machine isolated from every other one.
Mm-hmm.
So I only want basically to whitelist explicit flows. Let's say I'm testing malware inside of it or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
it's some kind of training environment for security stuff, and you really want to stay in exact control and only whitelist specific flows.
Allow list.
But yeah,
For your later viewing pleasure, I'll drop in a link to my talk from a few years back on the FreeBSD appliance, which is where I argued that the plumbing in FreeBSD is getting so good that, oh, someone could come along and add a pretty GUI to the firewalling, to the virtual machines, to the jails, and you've done exactly that. So thank you. This is glorious.
OpenSense.
Yeah, it sounds like some would argue you're way off topic to make it behave and replace the fundamentals of OpenSense. Well, it's like, well, no, but FreeBSD don't care. It'll just configure what you ask it to configure, and the unified
Yep.
environment could be fantastic. So, hoorah.
Yep.
Welcome, Woo Duck. Do you have any topics or questions for the call? If I pronounced that correctly.
Hey.
Hello.
No, I do not actually.
Is this your first time joining?
No, I've joined a few times a while ago,
Oh,
but
cool. I
I
don't
mostly
remember the
just
name. Sorry.
sit here to listen. I
Great.
think I joined under a different name previously.
Okay,
I can't recall.
welcome, previous name. Well, I hope you enjoy these, and I'm open to your feedback on, what you want to hear, because these are your calls, not mine. Oh, and I received a question from the public. What was it? Why don't you wear a face diaper while recording? I can get the exact wording. Let me find that.
Are some people still mad about having to wear masks or what?
Well, unless you work for ICE, they love masks. I'm so confused. I am so categorically confused. I know nothing. Yeah. Anywho, let me find that.
Yeah, they should probably get to wear some kind of mesh mask so they don't bite as Trump's little bulldogs.
Anyway, any other thoughts, questions, ideas, t-shirt ideas, funny jokes, raw snark, clever insights? I personally have spent 3 days pushing around data with OpenZFS, and I cannot imagine doing that without OpenZFS. No, no, thank you, no way. It's still a bit tricky to cross the divide of ACL mode equals restricted and then Unix permissions, because I'm helping an organization split into two, one of which is domain joined, one of which will be pretty tiny and such. So thank you, ZFS. If only there were a summit about that every October in Portland, Oregon, 25th through 28th. I hope to see you there. I'm not finding that link. Maybe he deleted it. Weird. I don't know. Okay. Anything else while we're at it? Great work, Hazem, if I haven't said it over and over.
Thank you.
This is very exciting. This is like, all this hard work under the hood to allow things like this, exactly this. I mean, and you've said
It
it
has been
yourself.
fun working with FreeBSD, to be honest, because I come from a background where I worked a lot with embedded Linux over the last 2 years, and it was not fun, to be honest. Especially things like pass-through. Like, I still don't know how to pass through on Linux, like properly.
Properly, oh dear.
Yeah, yeah. And I have been using Linux since I was 15 years old, and I still can't figure out like how to not let NVIDIA take over my graphics card, Like it's still not good. And on
Wow.
FreeBSD, it just works, which is
Yeah.
what we want.
And from Tuesday's call, someone moved their Java-based application to FreeBSD jails from Red Hat Linux and saw like a 40% overhead performance boost, drop in overhead and performance boost. And that was tangible and delightful. And
Nice.
yay. Yeah, some of you were on for that. Yeah. Then this is inspiring insofar as I've been personally following this just with gut instincts. Like, okay, if we make it easy and make it check all these check boxes, great things will happen. So with, you will get confronted with how do we do package base for your jails, but let some of that dust settle. I think in the words of DCH, things are in flux, if I'm not mistaken, from a little chat we're having. But yeah.
And one more thing, like
Yes, please.
recently I have been using KVM a lot, and the thing that I noticed was the fact that you can make things a lot faster if you just do pinning and pass-throughs properly, which you can't really do on Proxmox very well. And it ends up that they have all these cool features, but they don't have anything that works. Like as you said, the plumbing is not that good, and it ends up being a lot slower. Like ZFS volumes is a pain on Proxmox, and like passing through your GPU is still a pain. I don't know why. And what else? Yeah, CPU pinning is still not that great. Like I want to see which CPU cores I've pinned. Like I don't know.
So
It
the
just
pinning is
makes
supposed
things
to
a
make
lot slower.
things faster. You said it like may impact performance?
No, I wouldn't say it impacted performance. It's the fact that getting there is so difficult that you
Yeah.
just don't do it.
You just don't do it. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I have customers that, have like 48 core machines, but then they're like, okay, I don't want to use spinning, dude. It's just too difficult. Like I'll just run Windows, raw dog it.
Wow.
And yeah, so you don't get to use the hardware that you paid for. And these Intel machines are like really expensive. Like you paid for it, use it. Like they're like, we don't care, dude. We don't care about Z walls. We just want our, VM to work on this old disk image that is like 20% slower. We really don't care. Like, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
that's a
because
different debate to have on when you want a disk image and when you want a Z-vol. That's a whole different
mhm,
conversation. There's a place for each. However, yeah, and you mentioned this before the recording. Proxmox 9 arrived like what, yesterday?
mhm.
You say the graphing has improved. What else is new for those who are closely watching Proxmox while listening to this
Okay,
recording?
one thing that I really respect them for is the fact that they started tackling the mobile UI situation,
Oh,
and they're
interesting.
writing it
Okay.
in Rust for some reason.
Oh, okay. Like
Yeah.
in Proxmox 9, the new mobile UI, Rust.
And their
Interesting.
SDN stuff is getting a lot better, and their HA is getting even better. The HA is something that you have to hand it over to Proxmox. Like
Hmm.
that's really good. Yeah.
Are they still using
Yeah.
Gluster?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, I set
Yeah.
I don't know if I wiped the machines. I had a little Gluster set up with a colleague, and you'll notice in the documentation when it comes to replacing a node, everyone just kind of starts grumbling and runs away. Like, it's kind of important. Like the disk replacement in a Z pool in production. That's yeah, kind of important. Just
Yeah, that's
saying.
pretty important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But the ZFS support is still pretty bad, I would say. But you like things that people care about, like that, like live migration stuff, is still.
That's cool. Well, I was
Yeah.
hoping Hans could join today, but he's probably just busy coding away. But he's making some very good progress on the plumbing to make that happen, as opposed to
Okay.
the GUI to make that happen.
Okay.
Um, Did this disappear? Aw, did he deleted the post on when you record? Aw, poor thing. Okay, never mind. Uh, but I will quote him. The The Fediverse can be hostile at times when you record. Anyway, requests for next time, next week.
Yeah, that's a good segment, you know.
That's the question from the Fediverse. Anyway, fascinating. Let's see. Andrew, you're still with us. Would you like the honors?
Like and subscribe.
Thank you.